Welcome to the EDU Matrix channel. I'm Sandy Ingram. This special report will share how and why the Iraqi government has lost over 15 billion US dollars. Not only that, Europe is also facing hardship due to this chain of events. Before we begin this unbelievable yet totally true story, you should know that you have no tax obligation just because you invest or hold foreign currency or the Iraqi dinar. You must create a taxable event before you are taxed. A taxable event is selling or trading your currency for a loss or a profit. If you want to learn more about how to lower your taxes, even with a high profit margin, join the channel's membership. The first 8 5-minute videos out of over 50 tutorials will show you how to lower your taxes legally. Now for the Iraqi story that has impacted Europe, but not in a good way. As IQD investors, we want to understand what is happening. Iraq is important in ways that we don't even yet fully understand.
The halt of oil exports from Iraq's Kurdish region, or KRG, since March 2023 has significantly impacted Europe, especially amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. Approximately 450,000 barrels of oil per day have been removed from the market. This loss hit Europe hard as it sought alternatives to Russian energy after imposing sanctions on Moscow. KRG oil had become crucial for southern European nations like Italy and Greece. With this supply cut off, Europe faced increased energy prices and intensified competition for alternative sources. The supply shortage worsened inflation and further strained already struggling European economies. The disruption underscores Europe's urgent need to diversify its energy sources and reduce dependence on volatile fossil fuel markets. However, let's look at the backstory of what led Iraq, the KRG, and Europe to this dismal situation. The chain of events began after the 2003 US-led invasion of Iraq, which toppled Saddam Hussein. The relationship between the Kurdish region in northern Iraq and the Iraqi central government entered a new complex phase. The Kurds, who had long suffered under Saddam's oppressive rule, saw an opportunity to expand their autonomy. The Kurdistan Regional Government, or KRG, which had already been enjoying a degree of self-governance under the protection of the US-enforced no-fly zone since the early 1990s, took advantage of the power vacuum in Iraq to further solidify its control over Kurdish-populated areas. The 2005 Iraqi constitution recognized the KRG as an autonomous entity with its own government, military forces known as the Peshmerga, and authority over the 3 provinces of Erbil, Sulaymaniyah, and Dohuk. However, disputes over borders, control of oil resources, and the status of the ethnically mixed city of Kirkuk continued to strain relations between the KRG and Baghdad. Following the invasion, the Kurds emerged as a crucial U.S. ally in Iraq, assisting in stabilizing the region and combating insurgent groups. However, the relationship with the Iraqi central government remained fraught, particularly over oil revenue sharing and territorial disputes. The Kurds sought greater independence, especially given their substantial oil reserves, but Baghdad insisted on maintaining centralized control over natural resources. In the years that followed, the KRG began signing independent oil deals with foreign companies, angering the Iraqi government, which considered such actions unconstitutional. This dispute over oil escalated into a financial crisis in 2014, when Baghdad cut off the KRG's share of the federal budget, pushing the region into economic hardship. The emergence of ISIS in 2014 brought a temporary shift in dynamics. As ISIS rapidly seized large swaths of Iraqi territory, the KRG's Peshmerga forces stepped in to protect northern Iraq, including the contested city of Kirkuk, which they took full control of after Iraqi forces fled. This significantly boosted the KRG's leverage and control over disputed territories. The Kurds were hailed as a bulwark against ISIS, receiving military aid and support from the US and other Western nations. However, as ISIS was gradually defeated, tensions resurfaced between the KRG and Baghdad over the territories the Kurds had taken during the conflict. In 2017, buoyed by their gains and international recognition in the fight against ISIS, the KRG held an independence referendum, with over 90% of voters supporting secession from Iraq. However, the move backfired. The Iraqi government, with tacit support from neighboring countries like Turkey and Iran, who were wary of their own Kurdish minorities pushing for autonomy, swiftly rejected the referendum. Baghdad responded by imposing sanctions, closing airspace to the Kurdish region, and eventually deploying military forces to retake the disputed territories, including Kirkuk. The KRG, faced with military pressure and economic isolation, was forced to back down, and the dream of independence was put on hold. Since then, relations have remained tense but pragmatic. The KRG and Baghdad have intermittently negotiated agreements over oil revenue sharing, border control, and security cooperation, but these deals are often short-lived. The region continues to face significant challenges, including economic instability, exacerbated by fluctuations in oil prices and political infighting within Kurdish factions. Meanwhile, international actors like the US, Turkey, and Iran continue to exert influence over the region. The US maintains ties with the Kurds due to their strategic value, while Turkey, despite its opposition to Kurdish independence, has economic interests in the KRG's oil exports. Iran, with its influence over Iraqi Shia factions, seeks to ensure that the Kurds do not destabilize its regional interests. As of 2024, the situation remains fragile. The Kurdish region of Iraq is caught between aspirations for greater autonomy and the geopolitical realities imposed by its neighbors and the central Iraqi government. While the KRG has maintained its semi-autonomous status, any further moves toward independence would likely face resistance from both Baghdad and regional powers, ensuring that the struggle for Kurdish self-determination in Iraq remains an unresolved issue. The Kurdistan Regional Government, KRG, has faced significant challenges in exporting its oil through Turkey, leading to substantial revenue losses. In March 2023, the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, ruled that Turkey had violated a 1973 pipeline agreement by facilitating oil exports from the KRG without Baghdad's consent. Consequently, Turkey halted the flow of approximately 450,000 barrels per day of Iraqi oil through the Iraq-Turkey pipeline, ITP, to the port of Tehran. The situation was further complicated by a devastating earthquake in February 2023, which Turkey cited as a reason for delaying the pipeline's reopening, stating that necessary repairs were required. Despite Turkey announcing in October 2023 that the pipeline was ready for operation, oil flows have not resumed due to ongoing disputes. The prolonged shutdown has resulted in significant financial losses for the KRG, estimated at nearly $1 billion per month. In response, the Iraqi government has taken steps to centralize oil exports. Here's the kicker. In November 2024, Iraq's cabinet ordered the KRG to transfer its oil output to the state-run firm SOMO, and approved compensatory measures for production and transport costs. However, disagreements over payment terms and contract revisions have hindered progress, with international oil companies operating in the region expressing concerns over production costs and overdue payments. As of November 2024, negotiations to resume oil exports through the ITP remain stalled, with no clear resolution in sight. The channel will keep you updated on the subject.